Yo, yo, what's going on? Welcome to this week's AI Agent of the Week. My name is Arvell Craig with Bot Builders, and I can play around with my little thingy today. So we're going to get into our next agent. This is week 4 of our AI Agent of the Week. I think the first week was my speaker opportunity weekly agent pitching. The second week, we talked about Clay for massive lead generation, lead enrichment, outbound business development. Last week, we talked about Claude Cowork. Fascinating. It's funny. I'm probably going to hit up each one of those platforms again in the coming weeks with different use cases. Actually, today I'm going to actually talk about the speaker agent suite. I'm going to give you actually 2 more ideas, similar setup using the platform Lindy. So just to recap how I define an AI agent versus like AI, because it's different, right? So to me, an agent is an interactive AI that does multiple things. Here are some of the main components of an agent. There's a trigger that starts it, but it also has the ability to plan how to execute what you want it to do. It makes decisions. Then it actually performs the tasks itself. If necessary, it will access third-party tools, other apps, other resources while it's performing the task. It has a memory and it can output some type of end result, some kind of software, image, video, presentation, campaign. There's results, right? So these 7 components is what an agent is versus just an AI that just talks to you or just a chat bot that has conversations with you. Okay. If you got questions on how to build an agent, if you want an agent for your business, just send me a message, DM me. Specifically, our agents are typically helping out with sales or marketing, customer success. Those are the low-hanging fruit, and plus any type of administrative, executive types of functions as well, which again, we'll get into more of that actually next week. I want to highlight some more executive agents. So let's get into what we want to talk about this week. I kind of want to talk about the concept of a team of agents or agentic orchestration, because the best agents, they're not multi-thousand step complex systems that you have to build. The best agents will have like 2-3 steps to make sure it's not too complicated, to make sure you can edit it, you can tweak it, you can optimize it, you can debug the problems. But then you take these 2-3 step agents and you combine it with another 2-3 step agent and then another 2-3 step agent. And then you have this orchestration, this team of agents that can do something, or this suite of agents that can accomplish a full job or full task. Okay. So that's really the ideal architecture, infrastructure for building out agent teams and orchestrating how they work together. So that's kind of a boilerplate. So here on the screen, you see here, my core, most common team of agents is going to be one that searches the internet or monitors something, and it just watches what's happening. And then when something happens, it passes that notification to an enrichment or an evaluation analysis agent that kind of, digs deep into what actually happened, where the value is. And if it's valuable to actually take to the next step, we pass it on to a third agent that actually takes some sort of action on our behalf. So this most fundamental suite of agents has these 3 components: a search or a monitoring of what's happening, evaluation, enriching, and then taking action, right? So the 2 things I want to cover today is my content team of agents. And what it does, what I have is I get a morning briefing 5 days a week about all the news and topics that are valuable for me in my work. And then from that briefing, the enriching and the evaluating, normally I do that myself, which I'm fine with, because not everything in my briefing do I need to take action on. So I'm fine with just reading my briefing, making some decisions on it, and then passing it to my content repurposer that takes content and it repurposes that content for the various media channels where I'm active, which is my email newsletter, Substack, Facebook, LinkedIn, maybe X or Threads, right? That's what the repurposer does, how it takes action. But these right now, technically, this would be just two agents in my content team. But I have another team that I'm building. I'm not going to reveal it this week. This week, I'm just going to show you the content team. But I do have an SDR or Dream 100 sales team, which monitors companies, okay, and news and industry news. And based upon what it's looking for, it'll capture, extract, and enrich opportunities and give me the contact details of who I may want to reach out to. And then it'll draft out a pitch, an acknowledgement of whatever news it saw, or pitch an opportunity to book a meeting or have a conversation or meet at an upcoming meeting or an event where something's happening with that contact person. But the core of it is that Dream 100, those lists of 100 companies or contacts or people or topics that I'm interested in. So this is in my SDR sales agent team. But it still operates on the same three-step process, three separate agents doing three separate things. Okay, so real quick, let me actually show you my content team and what it does for me on a daily basis. Let's see, 1 second. Okay, so here is my morning briefing, February 4th, that's today. And so it sends me a briefing every morning at 7 a.m. And you can see here, it gives me information on Claude, and it says why this matters. So this agent doesn't just give me information. It knows all about me, my values, my priorities. And so it's always framed specifically because it knows about me, which again, we can get into kind of the nuances of how you build agents, how you make sure they're trained in another video sometime. So anyway, it's got some information on Claude. It's got some information on the AI Agency Summit event, allows me to register. It's got some content ideas because it knows I want to create content. So it says, hey, this SaaS apocalypse, that's a hot topic. You may want to write an article about that. And so it's like prepping me to write an article on that. Apple and Claude Xcode, Apple and Claude on Xcode coding platform. I'm not a developer. I'm not going to go down there. And it's got some platform updates because these are the platforms that I use that I'm most interested in. Claude's updates, Go High Level updates, Lindy, OpenAI. And then lastly, it's got some other kind of content, some theory of constraints in AI, which is I'm pretty passionate about combining those two topics. Some agentic workflows, team efficiency, how my team can work together, what AI tools can help us as a team, and then other information worth noting. So here is, again, this is my daily morning briefing. I get it every morning before I get into the office at 7 a.m. It's published. It also gives me a Word doc with the same content. But the big thing is, this is just a briefing. I pick and choose what I want. I may click on the link and pull it up like this SaaS apocalypse. Click on the link, see what it's like, and I can take that into my content repurposer. And let me kind of show you what that looks like. So here's my content repurposer agent. And so what it does is go to the top here. So again, I just manually feed it the content. Again, this runs every day at 8 a.m. It has some ideas. It runs through my morning briefing folder and says, okay, what have you been looking at? And I say, hey, Arvell, here's some content that we could repurpose for you. We can write for you. So it gives me suggestions every day of what I could be writing about. And you can see here, I reviewed the morning briefing and sent me, a summary of what we could talk about. Based upon the morning briefing, we can talk about these three things. But again, I need to give it the actual article. I tried to give it a link. I actually didn't train this AI agent to run through links. I trained it to just take the actual content. So let me scroll down to what I did earlier before recording. The main thing is that it took the article and it turned it into an email newsletter style. It also turned the article into a Facebook style. It also turned the article into an X thread style. And it also took the article into a LinkedIn style. So that is what my content repurposer does. It repurposes content in 4 different formats. Again, with my signature, with my style, create a great day, bridging the gap between capacity and potential. But you can see here, and I should show you a little bit more of the conversation because I gave it a link to the article. And again, I just clicked on the link in here. I think this was it. I clicked on the article and I pulled it up here and I gave the morning agent the article, but it says I'm unable to access web links directly. But if you can paste it, if you can copy and paste it, then I can actually work on it or put it in a Google Doc or forward it as an email. You can process it. So what I did was, here's the article. Instead of just copying the article from here directly, I use my little browser agent right here inside of my web browser and says, summarize this. So I use GenSpark as my web browser, which has its own agentic features. And so it summarized the article in a shorter version. And so I copied this summary, and then inside here, I pasted that summary inside of here. And based upon me pasting the summary, then it turned the summary into an article that I can share across different social media. Got it? So that is my content repurposing agent connected with my morning briefing agent, and that team together gives me content that I can share and post and publish every single day. Okay? So that's that. Again, I may share with you my sales agent team, my sales suite, my Dream 100 SDR team in a future video. If you got questions or if you want to see that sooner, just comment on this video. If you want to see some of my sales agent teams, just comment or message me. I give it out early. But I know next week I really want to, and I'm building this out now. One of the biggest things I feel are important are almost more basic administrative executive assistant type agents that simply manage your email, manage people you need to follow up with, manage meetings and meeting transcripts. Everybody has a meeting recorder, but what type of intelligence, what are you doing with that? What are you doing with those meeting recordings? I have no idea what happened to my video here. Must be a sign that this video is long enough. So I'm going to call it. Again, reach out to me if you have specific questions. If you want to see a specific agent, if you want to know if an agent can do something specifically for you and your business, just reach out to me and let me know. And I may just make it for you for next week. And until then, that's all I got. Create a great day. Bye.